what am I doing on my credit profile that's causing a change? And I made a big mistake, guys. I made a big mistake. So I want to use this as a learning lesson. Let me see if I can make this bigger. All right, so let's zoom in right here, right? So it says July 30th, right? That's when they gave me the notification. An account was closed. An account has been identified as closed by the creditor or consumer. Now, I didn't close down this account, so it's definitely not by the consumer. Why did the creditor or the credit card issuer close down my account? All right, let's break this down, because this is going to be something that we all got to just be mindful of. One of the very first videos that I did on this channel, we talked about something called the shopping cart trick. So now the shopping cart trick was a strategy that I showed you guys about almost 3 years ago, where if you were somebody that had a thin credit profile, you had possibly bad credit, I showed you guys how to target specific accounts, Macy's, Victoria's Secret, GameStop. There were several accounts that you could go on their website and basically do a pre-qual to see if you can qualify for their store card. So the whole point of that strategy was, I was telling you guys, hey, go to these specific stores, open up these accounts. You're going to get a primary trade line in your name, no hard inquiry. It's going to be a revolving credit line, right? We're going to add all of these things to our credit profile without a hard inquiry. I think the original credit line was like $1,800 or something like that. I did another credit limit increase and then it almost doubled. And then I did another one and then it doubled again. So I showed you guys literally from the very beginning when I opened up the account, I showed you multiple credit limit increases, right? It's how we went from basically around $1,800 starting credit limit to about, you can see here, $7,400 in the course of less than 12 months. And this was kind of a case study to show you guys how we can add primary trade lines on your account, how we can request credit limit increases, again, without triggering a hard inquiry, and how we can get positive trade lines added onto our credit profile with higher credit limits, because we know the higher the credit limit is going to help our overall utilization. That was the story, right? So this was the account. So this was the account from Overstock. Right, you can see here, Community Bank, Overstock. I got this card doing the shopping cart trick, but can you guys guess what did I do? And this is something that I preach on this channel. I tell you guys to do it, but I didn't even do it for myself. So now this card is basically closed. This is a dead card and it's a dead account. What do you think I did wrong with this account? I'm gonna let you guys think about that for a second. If you think you got the answer, go down in the comments. Let me know, what did I do with this account that caused the credit card issuer to say, sorry, we're shutting this account down. So what I told you guys was basically anytime you have a revolving account, you have to do something every once in a while. And that thing is, you've got to use the account. You've got to use it, right? You've got to use it. If you don't use your credit card revolving accounts, the credit card issuer, they can pretty much close it at any time. They might reduce your credit limit, or they might just flat out close the account. That's what happened to me. This was basically a demo account that I could show you guys like in real time how to apply for a credit card account with no hard inquiry, how to request a credit limit increase with no hard inquiry, how to increase your credit limit to help your overall utilization, which is going to increase your credit score. So this was basically like a case study. I wanted you guys to see that in real time, but I'm gonna keep it real. I haven't used this account in probably a year and a half. It's been forever. I only use this card to keep it active because I would swipe every maybe 60 days or so. I will buy something super cheap off their website, wait a few months, and then I would request a credit limit increase, and it was working. But it got to the point where I stopped really teaching you guys about the shopping cart trick, mainly because I think the best way to build your credit profile on your personal side is still getting a secured card with the bank. I always tell you guys, even with all these shopping cart tricks and all these secret hacks and all these different things people talk about, I still say the best way to add revolving credit lines to your primary trade line is just get a secured card with the bank, a bank that you can see yourself with for years and years and years. And then once you start having 1, 2, 3 revolving credit lines that have $10,000 and above in available credit limit, it's going to make it that much more easier to go to Chase, to go to Navy Federal, to go to US Bank, and start getting other type of funding or similar type of funding on the personal as well as the business side. But what I didn't do, and this is what I tell you guys to do, but I didn't do it, was I basically just stopped putting any sort of spend on this card. After I stopped teaching you guys about the shopping cart trick, which was literally 2.5, 3 years ago, I didn't do anything with this card. I didn't even realize I still had it in my wallet. I didn't follow my own tip, right? And this is what happened. So guys, this is a real life example. And if you look, let me make sure this is, let's look at the top one. I think let's do that. So it says your score dropped by 10 or more points, right? The same day that they closed down the account. So now here's the second question. Why did my score drop when they closed down the account? Why did it drop? Put that in the comments if you know the answer to that. All right, I'm gonna tell you guys that answer. Anything you do, whether it be positive or negative to your credit profile, there's going to be a domino effect. If you add an account to your credit profile, typically 9 times out of 10, you might see your score drop. Why? Because now you've added a new account, which is now going to lower your average age of credit. So even though you're trying to build your credit, you might see your score actually take a hit in the short term because you've now shrunk your average age of credit. Basically, if you do anything to your credit profile, if you remove accounts, I know some people want to remove their student loans, but I'm telling you guys, if you remove that, you're removing a lot of age. Some of you guys have student loans that are 15, 20 years old. Those are like the biggest accounts that's holding up your entire credit profile. So if you remove it, it's going to negatively impact you more than you think. So in this case, the reason why I got a credit score drop was that this $7,400, which was the credit limit. And now that I think about it, I should have continued to put more usage on this card. I should have continued to ask for credit limit increases. At this point, this card should have been at least $10,000 to $12,000 in available credit limit. So guys, remember, you have on every individual card, you have your individual credit limit, but you also have your total available credit limit across all of your revolving cards. So now that this card is closed, it's going to affect me in a couple of ways. The first, going forward, I'm not going to get positive payment history every single month going forward. The old positive payment history that I've been basically accumulating over the last almost 3 years is still going to remain on my credit report. It's still going to show, but starting in August and then September, October, I'm not going to get any more green positive payment history reporting to my credit profile. That's not a good thing. Putting a $50 charge on this, paying it off, wait another 3-4 months, put another $50 charge on it, pay it off. I was using it right, and they were rewarding me by giving me continually a credit limit increase. So this $7,400 you see right here, this was the available credit limit that was associated with this card. Now that this card is closed, that $7,400 is now removed from my available credit limit across all of my accounts. So in other words, just because this account closed down, I now have higher utilization, even though I didn't spend a penny on any of my other accounts, on any of my other credit cards. Just because this card closed down, my overall utilization just increased. So this is why I tell you guys, number one, it's important to pay attention to the fundamentals. I know we like to get excited about business funding this, running this play over here, even though it's kind of boring, even though it's like, okay, cool, we heard it before. But if we're not actively putting this into practice, if we're not actively using this strategy, it's going to hurt us in the long term. Now, for me, this is not an account that I really use, right? This is not like my Amex account or my Navy Federal account. This was basically a dummy account just to show you guys for educational purposes or entertainment purposes. But I don't want you guys to run into this problem for yourself. So if you have your Bank of America, Navy Federal, Chase, US Bank, if you have these accounts that you worked for years and years to take care of the relationship, nurture the relationship. You've requested credit limit increases. If you're taking care of these accounts, you don't want to lose them just out of negligence or you just forgot. Be very mindful, because if they close down the account, the likelihood that I can just call them back and reopen it is very, very, very unlikely. So more than likely, I lost this account. This is not a huge deal, but this is a reminder for you guys. Don't let that be the reason that you lose an account and you hurt your credit profile, right? So that's pretty much it, guys. That is the lesson. Learn from my mistake. If you have a credit card that you actually want to keep long term, guys, just put 30 bucks on it, put 20 bucks on it, put Netflix on that account. Make sure that you're putting usage on the credit cards that you want to keep. Otherwise, if you're like me and you forget, don't be surprised when you get an email alert from whatever credit card monitoring service that you have saying, hey, your score has now dropped because the account is closed, right? Guys, hopefully you got a couple of gems from this video. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Make sure to do that specifically for this week. Guys, I have about 2 or 3 new videos dropping for you guys. And then Tanya and I have a live stream that's going to be premiering this week. You guys are going to enjoy it. Make sure you hit the bell notification. Stay tuned, stay tapped in, and I'm gonna check you guys out in the next video. All right, peace.